Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What is going on, Fantasy Champions? Welcome back in to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Rick Lemon. I'm here by myself this week. It's on me. Schedules are tough. I've been in a hotel for the last 5 days, and before that, moved into a new apartment. So I'm in a new location, but we should be back together next week. So on today's podcast, I'm going to be doing a mock draft. So if you're watching on YouTube, you can follow right along and, see what I do. Think you might do a strategy. Haven't really thought about it yet. Might play it by year, which is probably what I'll end up doing. And you can tell me if my picks suck or if I made a lot of good decisions and what your thoughts on it were. So it's actually our fifth mock draft. So that's how you know we're kind of getting along here. I think last year we did like 7 or 8. So we're pushing along here before the fantasy season really starts. So it's going to be exciting. We're already, I don't know when this is going to come out, but it's midway through July at this point at the time of the recording. So we're getting there. So before we do this, you guys should check out our website at thefantasychampions.com. You should follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Twitter is the FF Champs. Instagram at the Fantasy Champions. Facebook is facebook.com/the Fantasy Champs. TikTok at the FF Champs. If you're listening to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcasting platform, please leave a review and share it with your friends. And if you're watching on YouTube and following along, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, like and comment, and maybe even share. Say this guy blows. Or maybe look at this guy. I'm going to follow his exact strategy and win a championship. But it is July, so, we still got some time. Some things might change. Some opinions might differ by the time we get to August. But you might be drafting now. So you might be, if you're in a league that drafts in July, which I think I was in a league that used to do that. As a matter of fact, I think our home league we used to draft really early. So it was around this time of the year. So without further ado, let's get started. I know that's what you've all been waiting for. So I'm going to go with pick 7. It's right in the middle. So far I've been liking that area, but we'll see how this thing plays out. And ADP on Sleeper has updated a lot. It's looking like Underdog or some other best ball platforms. So it's not like it was a month ago when we were doing these. It's definitely starting to shape up the way that I think it's going to look like come August and come a lot of your fantasy drafts. All right, so let's get this thing started. I already got the sound muted. I'm also going to turn off notifications just in case it blares in my ear. And let's go. So first pick is Justin Jefferson, followed by Christian McCaffrey, Jamar Chase, Cooper Kupp, Austin Eckler, and Travis Kelce. I could see drafts going like this. I would not take Travis Kelce 6th overall, but, I've been wrong before, and especially on Travis Kelce, taking him early. So if you want to do that, go right ahead. He does give you a big positional advantage at tight end, but I just think it's a little too early to be drafting a guy who, unless if he puts up the same numbers he did last year, then you can make the argument he'd be worth a late first round pick, which is very possible. He still has Mahomes as his quarterback, but I think he will be 34 this year. Kind of trying to push back on that, but who knows? Either way, I'm going to take the best player available to me here at the wide receiver position. That's Tyreek Hill. I can see Bijan starting to creep up now at the 108. I think that might be a tad early for him. I would be okay with taking him maybe at the turn there, but that's just me. So after Bijan, we got Diggs, CeeDee Lamb, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor. The second round started with Devontae Adams. A.J. Brown, I really like at 2-2. Patrick Mahomes, 2-3. I think that's a little early. Nick Chubb, 2-4. And then Josh Allen, 2-5. Now I got some good players on this list. I could definitely see myself going with Derrick Henry or Josh Jacobs, get myself a really solid RB1, which is what I probably should do. But I'm going to go a little bit of some zero RB here and see how this plays out. I'm going to go Garrett Wilson. The reason I'm going Garrett Wilson is because I just love the guy. I think he's going to be a star in this league, if not already. You got Aaron Rodgers coming in now. I think he's in for a really big year. And to have Garrett Wilson and Tyreek Hill at wide receiver to me is just chef's kiss. I mean, it's a crazy duo to me. And I could get even crazier here with my next pick, but we got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs. Derrick Henry and Eckler, like that's a solid RB duo if you want to go that way. So after Josh Jacobs, then Jalen Waddle, Tony Pollard, Ramondre, Mark Andrews, Jalen Hurts, Travis Etienne, Breece Hall, T. Higgins, and Najee Harris. Do I dig myself an even bigger grave, which I think I will because I love Chris Olave too. Get the 2-year, 2 breakout receivers who aren't even really breakout guys because they had monster rookie years. And in a PPR league, because this is PPR, as you can see in the top left, 12-team PPR, I'm going to take Chris Olave. So this is the 0 RB strat. We're kind of seeing how it plays out in real time. But, to me, I'm getting 3 really good receivers that I feel really good about. And again, in PPR, that's pretty darn good. So we got DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, who I know a lot of people are down on Deebo. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. I like Team 9 overall. Devontae Smith at 310 is not a bad pick. Keenan Allen, 311. Lamar Jackson. Gibbs now at 4-1, climbing up. Top of the 4th round, late 3rd round. I think I'm okay with that. I think Morgan's more hesitant on that, but I'm okay with that. Joe Burrow at 4-2. Aaron Jones, 4-3. Justin Fields, 4-4. Ken Walker, who would have been my pick at 4-5. I actually think the best player available here is still probably Calvin Ridley, another receiver, but I can't go 4 receivers. It's too much. I don't mind Hawk here either, but I will go with my first RB here and go Joe Mixon. I don't think Mixon is anything special by any means, but he can give me stability at the running back position, which I will need considering I waited until the 4th round to take one. But it's looking like a solid team. I like the squad so far. Next, we had Calvin Ridley, DJ Moore, TJ Hawkinson, DeAndre Hopkins, George Kittle, Amari Cooper, J.K. Dobbins, Alexander Madison at 5-2. Don't know if I like that. Damian Pierce, 5-3, Christian Watson, Justin Herbert, and Chris Godwin, who I love that pick. Love that pick there at 5-6. And I got some good players here on the board. Jerry Jeudy. Everyone knows I still like Terry McLaurin, no matter how many years he's going to have at the bad quarterback. This one's tough. I even don't mind Kyle Pitts, but I'm not going to go in that direction. Probably wait. I wish he was 1 round lower. Like if I could get Kyle Pitts 6-6, I would definitely prefer that. 5th round Kyle Pitts, I feel like we're pushing the same territory that he's been in the last 2 years. And it hasn't worked well the last 2 years. So I do like Kyle Pitts more this year than I ever have in terms of fantasy football. Probably because everyone else is so down on him. But again, 5th round, I don't know. But again, looking at my positions here, looking at my team and my needs, I want to go DeAndre Swift, but I'm going to go Miles Sanders. I think, again, stability at the running back position. When you have 3 really good receivers, and I take 2 running backs, I don't think either one of them are going to be elite, but I think both can be very solid 12 to 15 point guys a week. I'm okay with that. And lo and behold, after that monologue about Kyle Pitts, he is there. But anyway, so after Miles Sanders, you had Dalvin Cook, Terry McLaurin, Jerry Jeudy, DeAndre Swift, who I like there at 5'11". I like Jerry Jeudy at 5'10". Dallas Goedert, Brandon Ayuk, James Conner, Tyler Lockett, Cam Akers, Drake London. I don't mind Trevor Lawrence. There is a player here that I really, really like at this position. That's not Kyle Pitts. After my monologue about Kyle Pitts. Now what do I do? Trevor Lawrence is there as well. I think that is a pretty good spot. We talk about like the top 8 quarterbacks, getting one of those guys, and Lawrence is there. Kyle Pitts is there. The other guy that I really, really like at this spot that's also available is Mike Williams. Mike Williams in the 6th round to me is really, really good value. I do already have 3 really good receivers that I'm pretty confident in. This is tough. I don't think the tight end position. There's a quarterback or two that I think I can get later on. As much as I like Trevor Lawrence here, mm. This one is probably the toughest pick. I'm gonna go Kyle Pitts. I'm gonna go Kyle Pitts, see how it plays out. It's very tempted to go T Law there. I also think Mike Williams at 6'10", which is where he ends up going, is a steal. It's a great, great pick for Team 3. But after Kyle Pitts was Michael Pittman Jr., followed by Hollywood Brown, Trevor Lawrence, which at 6'9". It's a great pick. Great pick. Mike Williams. Mike Evans is also, I don't mind there at the end of the 6th round. Alvin Kamara, which could end up being a steal if he's not suspended for much of the season. There at 6'12". Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson, Darren Waller, Rashad White, JSN, and Isaiah Pacheco. Now looking on the board, it gets a little tougher for me. I was kind of hoping one of those guys would fall. I knew they probably wouldn't. And this is tough. I know. I think Morgan might go Addison here. I think that would be fair. I would expect him to have a really solid rookie season with the opportunity there. I'm also tempted to go George Pickens. I think Pickens has a lot of upside. I'm not sure about Kenny Pickett in his game, which does concern me, especially with a lot of mouths to feed there. And this is tough. I think normally I'd go George Pickens, but the way my roster is constructed, I'll go Jordan Addison. I already have 3 receivers I'm really confident in. I'll take a guy who is a rookie receiver, and might start off slow, but someone who could really win you leagues in the back half of the season. And this is good. So now we're back at my pick here. So we had James Cook, Evan Ingram, Javonte Williams, John Dotson, George Pickens, Treylon Burks, David Montgomery, Pat Freiermuth, Harris Toney, Brandon Cooks. And I get the quarterback that I was thinking about when passing on Trevor Lawrence, although, again, I don't know, man. Trevor Lawrence, that would have been a good pick there. But I do still get a quarterback that I like a lot, and that's Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson has the potential to be in that elite group, and still has the rushing ability, and has a lot of big playability as well. And every single year in his career, minus last year, he was a top 5 quarterback. So to get that in the 8th round would be big. It's a little bit of a risky pick, especially when I could have gotten Trevor Lawrence, but I'll deal with that and kind of see how the roster is now constructed. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. And looking at it, I could probably use an RB3, even though there are some receivers here that I still really like. This is tough. It's tough. I think I'm gonna go with Khalil Herbert. I was thinking about Devin, is it Arcane or Archain, whatever, however you pronounce it, the rookie for the Dolphins. But I think I'll wait on him and see how that Dalvin Cook situation plays out, because if Dalvin Cook's there, I don't want any part of him. But if they go into the year with the Miami running back group, then he could be a good pick there. But Khalil Herbert, I know Chicago Bears like him. Coaching staff likes him. He's going to have the opportunity to be the RB1 in I think, at least, much improved offense and a very solid overall offense. So I'll take him. Bateman there at 9.8 would have been a good pick as well. Brian Robinson, Rashad Penny, Zay Flowers, Dalton Schultz, Kirk Cousins, I'm going to just say Arcane, but I could be totally wrong. Samaje Perine, Elijah Moore, and then Jameson Williams. I was hoping Elijah Moore, Jameson Williams was going to be there. I wanted that Elijah Moore, Deshaun Watson stack. I'm not going to get that, unfortunately. I think Cortland Sutton being on the board here is not bad at all. But I'm going to go with Damian Harris, another running back who I think I could plug and play with Buffalo. He could be a goal line machine. I think he has a lot of similarities to James Conner last year and could be that type of player. Gets a lot of rushing touchdowns. Or maybe even a Jamal Williams would be another good example of that. And to get that in the 10th round, not really like a sexy pick, but somebody who will produce, I think, with Buffalo. I don't see James Cook being a workhorse at all. I think it's going to be a split with Damian Harris getting the goal line touches. So he's someone who I could very easily plug and play at the running back position or even at the flex position on a week-to-week basis. Now here at this pick, it gets a little tricky. There's a lot of options I could go with. I like some of these receivers on the board. I think that's the direction I'll go in. Jacoby Myers, I think, is just very solid player. Adam Thielen has a chance to be the wide receiver 1 there early on with Carolina. Rondale Moore is going to be the wide receiver 2, most likely in Arizona. They don't have a quarterback, though, so that scares me. Darnell Mooney. Tyler Boyd's always solid. I think Singletary could have a quiet season there with the Texans. To me, this is between Mooney and Jacoby Myers, and I'll go with Jacoby Myers. Maybe Thielen in the mix there too, but Myers to me, again, not a sexy pick, but just really, really solid player, especially PPR. He's going to get a lot of catches. And honestly, with Hunter Renfrow, the potential of him getting cut or traded before the season starts, to me, that says a lot about Myers and how they view him and how they're going to use him as well. Because even if Renfrow stays, I think they definitely want to use Jacoby Myers a lot. They gave him a pretty good contract. And I think he's going to be the wide receiver 2 there with the Raiders. So, and it could be a PPR machine. He has been in years past. So now in the 12th round, I'm going to go another receiver here with some upside, and that's Sky Moore going into year 2 with the Chiefs. Has the potential to be the wide receiver 1 in that offense. Kadarius Toney will start the year as that, but we all know about his injury history. And if Sky Moore can take that year 2 jump, he will have a really, really solid season, and has a lot of opportunity in front of him with Patrick Mahomes. So, and he plays that kind of, I think he could play that Juju role as well with some more upside. So to get that in the 12th round, I'm good with that. So now my wide receiver group, I feel like is really, really solid. My running back group, to me, really, really solid. There's some tight ends here. There's some defenses and kickers, which that is the setting I put it on, but I probably will not draft one. I might draft one. We'll see how things go. But to me, I could go a backup tight end or quarterback, which I usually don't love. And I drafted Kyle Pitts in the 6th round. I'm not really going to get another tight end to me. If I need one, I'll pick one up off the waiver wire. Quarterback, however, with the uncertainties with Deshaun Watson, I might want some insurance there. So I'll go Kyler Murray. And what I'd probably do is I just put him on my IR spot and then pick up a defense or kicker. If this was a real draft, that's what I would do. But obviously, this is just a mock draft. So now I'm going to have an extra bench spot here. I'll go this is tough. It's between – I actually like Jeff Wilson at the running back position. I think there's a chance. I think Mostert, to me, I know he's getting drafted higher, but he's older, very injury prone. I think Jeff Wilson will end up being the guy. I mean, they're going to use all 3 guys, but Mostert might get the first crack, but I think he will probably lose that and be 3rd on the depth chart by the end of the year. I think Jeff Wilson will have the most time being 1st or 2nd there, so could be a good late round pick. Michael Gallup. I actually don't hate Michael Gallup here either. In the 14th, 15th round. He's now a full year removed from the ACL, so I think he's going to have a better year and more like he was in years past. Like I think last year he was getting drafted as like a 10th round pick. And the year before that, I'm not sure, but he had a pretty good season, so I think he's going to go more back towards that direction. But with Brandon Cooks there, kind of scares me. What is his upside? At least Nico Collins, who I don't love necessarily, at least has some upside and a lot of opportunity there with Houston. So that will be my pick. And as you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, a lot of kickers and defenses at this point in the draft. And just for giggles, I will probably take one myself. Because again, if this was a real draft, I definitely would be putting Kyler in my IR spot. So I wouldn't draft both a kicker and defense anyway. And this is an interesting one. I don't like really any of the defenses. I'll go with Cameron Dicker as a kicker. And the reason I do that, I like the Chargers offense. So that's basically my only explanation. So that is that. Went with a little bit of a zero RB strat there in PPR. But I still ended up with, by the end of the fifth round, I still had two running backs. I still had two starters. Either one of those guys is going to be a top 10 running back for me, I don't think, but I can have two really, really solid RB2s, which should be able to hold it down if I have three high level, top 12 to 15 receivers, which I think could be the case here. So I ended up with Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Joe Mixon and Miles Sanders at running back, Kyle Pitts at tight end, Jordan Addison at my flex, or the second flex spot, Deshaun Watson at quarterback, Khalil Herbert, Damian Harris, Jacoby Myers, Sky Moore, Kyler Murray, Nico Collins on my bench, and Cameron Dicker as the kicker. So that said, that will do it for this mock draft. Hope you guys enjoyed, and make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to click the bell on for notifications. And tell me what you think. Was it a bad strategy? Was it a good strategy? Did I miss out on guys? Did I make some right decisions, wrong decisions? That Trevor Lawrence pick is going to have me thinking. The Miles Sanders one as well was tough. Even the Addison one had a couple tough ones in there. Should I have taken a running back instead of Olave? Should I have taken Derrick Henry over Garrett Wilson or Josh Jacobs maybe? You guys let me know. Let me know how I did. So on that note, we'll see you guys later. Take it easy.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.